before the civil rights movement was a thing, Black homes were very strong. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have a whole lot. Our community wasn't, I don't think, severely adversely affected by the Depression because most people of color were already
depressed anyway.
Depressed.
Right.
So again, we were already living in difficult times, so we understood how important it was to rely on each other.
And to have that sense of family.
Exactly. Yeah. Welcome back, Double I Squad. It's your girl, Miss KK, coming back at you once again with another edition of Illegitimate Intellectuals. We're completing last week's conversation. Thank you so very much for joining us. And hey, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, we're on Insta, and we're on Twitter. It's your girl, Miss KK. Let's jump right into it, y'all. So it wasn't until feminism co-opted Black women and the civil rights movement came into play that we started to see a decline in that, because we started to lose Black men to open violence or being incarcerated. And so according to, I want to say it's the Pew Institute, which is a think tank, they have some very interesting facts, and I'll post it up. But they have found that Black men are twice as likely than Black women to marry outside of their race. So it's not that they're not willing to get married. They're more willing to marry a woman of another race.
I agree.
There is a significant gap between Black men versus Black women being married. And there are various factors, but one of the main factors is dating or marrying outside of their race. And I think also like incarceration at some point had a lot to do with that. And also considering that there are men that are attracted to other men and they're marrying each other. That just further displaces the amount of Black women who can't get married.
And then those same Black women who feel they can't find a Black man, sometimes they turn to their own.
And there you go.
And there you go. Right.
So there's a lot of interesting facts. There was even a couple of years ago, I think it was Match.com or something like that. They had put out an article saying that online dating, there was a great disparity because Black women and Asian men were the least desirable groups in terms of online dating. They got the least amount of like interactions. People were least interested in those two groups. And so it resulted in a subculture of Black women dating Asian men.
So they had some cute kids.
So it's a whole thing. And I wanted to explore that more. We'll do that on another episode. Sure. But it's interesting that how technology, dating, and our own social norms and how times have changed, how that has affected our ability to procreate, build marriages, and build families. What are your final thoughts?
I just think that we as a whole, especially with Black men, I think we just have to take better care. I remember I did another show with another young lady, and we got into a disagreement on Facebook in one of the chat rooms, and there were, it was pretty much a whole baby mama forum. And I said, the problem is, y'all need to do better. And I'm not saying men don't either.
Oh, yeah, it's a cycle that we both contribute to.
Men do too. But I feel like Black women, you guys need to do better, because in the end, you guys dictate whether or not this man is going to bore a child from you. And I think when you get to a point where you have a child with a man, all right, that doesn't work out, things happen. I meet another man, we have a child, well, that didn't work out, okay. And then you meet a third.
Maybe it's not the dude. Maybe it's not the dude.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, man, if there was virtual Molotov cocktails, I would have gotten them. So we wound up doing a show. I went on her show and we had this discussion. And I just think it all depends on who you are, because I think if you are a woman who's a scorned baby mama, you're going to feel like, well, it's all the guy's fault. But like I said, and I tell these women, you have to do better, as do we, because there's too many of us who are baby mamas.
Right. And baby daddies.
There's too many of us, because I'm willing to bet, and I wasn't an adult back then, but I'm willing to bet back in the 70s and 80s, that wasn't really the norm. And I'll tell you, even as a child, when we had like open houses and stuff, parents came.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't just the mom coming and the dad wasn't there. No, you'd see moms and dads, whether they were black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. They were there. Like there was more of a family unity. And over the last 25, 30 years, if not longer, something happened in which is now you have a lot of black men who are having children out of marriage, and a lot of black men are absent from the homes. And some may be voluntarily, but I think a lot of them not voluntarily, you know, and I think that's a very sad thing, especially, and I think that's the reason why a lot of our girls are the way they are.
Boys and girls benefit from both parents.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want my son to be effeminate or soft because he's only with me. You know what I'm saying? I want him to understand what it's like for him to be a man. I want him to understand.
You want that testosterone in him as well.
Right. He needs to understand he can't be emotional like me. He's going to be a father one day. He's going to be a husband one day. And people are going to rely on him being sound-minded. They're going to rely on him being calculating and not being prone to emotionalism.
Right. You're going to have to be able to take care of things when things go wrong.
And likewise, he also needs to understand what that looks like so that he knows how to cater to that. If he has a daughter or if he has a wife, he needs to understand her mood, her temperament, how to address that, how to avoid that. And those are only things that he can learn from observation. You know, I can tell him this is what it's like to be a man, but I'm not a man.
You can't teach him.
So I can't teach him that.
And it's the same thing with me. But in my case, I'd say, you know, my stepfather, who I call my dad, but he was generations older than me. So it's not as though I was 17 and he was like in his 40s.
Right.
He was much older than that. So I'm sure he had more of a very old school mentality, which is the reason why I had to learn everything through trial and error.
Right.
Like talking to
girls. Because that's probably how he learned it.
Right. You know, from talking to women, from how to dress to impress, from how to, you know, even using condoms and stuff. Like those are things I learned outside. And he was in the home. He was
active.
He was active and everything was there, but he also worked a lot. So he never really had the time to pull us aside and talk to us about those things growing up. And I think it's very vital for a lot of men to do that now, which is why you have a lot of these young brothers don't even know how to dress. I sit there and I look at a lot of the students I have. I say, wait, I was even telling my son, I said, you know, kids in your age range have no style. He said, what do you mean? And he kind of gets it. I said, when I was your age, like we had, you know, groups of boys. We had your preppies.
Yep.
You had your jocks. You had your pretty boys. You had your thugs. You had your gothic type. But you had, it was
everybody
a mixed
had their
bag.
own style.
Right. It was literally a bag of Skittles. Now we have just a bag of chocolate M&Ms. Everybody dresses the same.
Because they're not selling variety in the stores.
Well,
you only can buy skinny jeans. Back in the day, we had Fubu, we had Anichi, you had the Paco crew, Mecca,
Boss. I mean, you named it, and you had different styles. Like you had,
so you could switch it up.
So you could switch it up. Now it's either joggers and Vans or joggers and Jordans. Now I even see dudes wearing Crocs, like coming to school wearing Crocs. Don't get me wrong. They're comfortable, but I'm not going to be going to my job or going to school.
First of all, my parents would not have let me leave my house.
Me neither.
I've seen children outside with socks and these Nike flip-flops on. Like where my mom would be like, it's not summertime.
Right.
Okay, you're going to put some real shoes on.
And on top of that, you probably walk around the house with them same flip-flops.
You walk smooth out the house. You walk smooth out of the house with that on. Because, I mean, my dad didn't even like for me to wear sneakers. That's how old school my dad was. Right. You know what I'm saying?
He felt you're a girl, you should wear shoes.
You should wear shoes. Or I mean, even, not heels, but like you need to have like a church shoe on when you go to school.
Man, I remember when dudes used to take the time to iron their jeans. Like I used to use spray starch.
What?
I used to spray starch and make sure to get that crisp crease down the middle.
Okay, and that's why girls would pay attention because we would look for. I've come across dudes with young men with body odor. You know what I'm saying?
That is the worst.
Body odor.
And I say to these young brothers, I'm like, listen, man, come on. But see, and this is what I'm saying. A lot of girls go for a lot of stuff. They're okay with it.
They let it
because
slide.
I know you would get clowned. What? If you had body odor, you would get clowned.
If you was musty?
If you was, you know what I'm saying? If your clothes didn't match. if you were perpetrating, okay? You got on Nikes with some Adidas sweatpants. No.
Oh, don't wear Tommy Hilfiger jeans with a Nautica shirt.
Especially if your Nautica shirt was fake. They pulled the tag back.
Oh.
It says Fruit of the Loom or 100% cotton, or Hanes. You're like, oh, Hanes make Nautica? For real? It's just times have changed so much.
And I remember back in the day, like where we are, in the summertime, especially right before school would crank up, we would go to the outlets, or your people would make a trip to New York.
Yeah, yep.
And you'd go, and you'd spend about like $200 or $300,
and you come back with 4 or 5 outfits,
and you straight,
a pair of sneakers, and you straight.
You good.
Now it's just I don't understand it, man. I don't understand. That's why I tell my son all the time, man. And he's up on things, but as far as the dressing, I know it is what it is, but I try to encourage him. I say, listen, man, this is like jeans right here. You can put these on. Look, see, they're white at the bottom.
Right, exactly. You can cover your ankles up with these.
Yeah, and he wears a size 12. I said, you can't be wearing no joggers with no size 12.
How? Sway? How? And again, to your point about the different styles, I remember the boy that I dated my sophomore year in high school. The pockets on his jeans were so large, he would put a textbook and a calculator in his pants pocket. And they wouldn't fall off. Like his pants wouldn't fall off the cut of the pants. They were just large. They were roomy. One of the things that attracted me to him was that he did always look neat. He always had a clean haircut. I mean, we're in high school. He would wear a watch. He always wore polo shirts. And he wouldn't tuck, he wasn't no square. Like he would tuck his shirt in.
No.
He would wear the polo.
Yeah,
he just
presentable.
looked neat. If he had on a blue shirt, he would have on blue sneakers. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like he just looked neat.
Right.
And I look at some of these dudes now, and it's like they book bag is on. They got a shirt tied around their head. And it's like, I don't understand what's happening. How are you pulling females?
Man, I see. And the thing is, they don't even dress with the weather. I've seen dudes, I'm like, listen, you do know it's going to be 80 degrees out today. Why do you have a hoodie? They'll come to school with a hoodie on. I'm like, yo, it's going to be 80 degrees today? And we're talking 80 degrees in like March or April, where it feels like summertime outside.
So what confuses me, especially, this is prevalent up here where we are, is the shorts with the sweatshirt thing. I don't understand that. Are you hot or are you cold?
What are you?
What's going on?
You're right.
Because you got socks on with the shorts and the sweatshirt. Just add another 8 or 9 inches
and you
to
got
the
on
pants.
some pants. You're straight. That's it. Or even shorts that are down to the ankles. I'm like, what are you wearing? Are you wearing shorts? Are you wearing pants? What are we doing today? What are we doing today?
And it's like you got that on with high top sneakers, tall socks, and a wife beater. Or you got boots. Now, I'm not going to lie. Being grown up in the Northeast, I like that. I like to see the wallabies with the shorts, and I like to see the Timbs with the shorts. I do like that. Showing my age a little bit, but the wallabies back in the day with the shorts, that was all right. Or the Timbs with the shorts, the construction Timbs.
Yeah, and as long as you put it, and your Timbs weren't scuffed.
Oh, no, they couldn't be scuffed. You're not pulling nobody with some scuffed Timbs on. You're not doing that.
No.
And back in the day, I remember it being so simple, like a dude wearing like a fitted, plain white t-shirt, plain blue jeans, Timbs, or whatchamacallit, the Air Forces.
But see, that goes back to, you mentioned earlier in the conversation about how the age range of the parents
That's
are.
True.
Because if you don't have an older parent telling you and teaching you how to put yourself together when you leave the house, you're never going to know. If I'm 16 and my dad, if he's even in the house, I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Right.
If my dad is 36 and my mom is 34, you're not going to really teach me how to put myself together because I'm pretty much growing up with you.
With you, right.
I would tell even students of mine, I say, listen, pull your pants up, man. Where is your belt? Right.
Where is it?
and the worst part is you see dudes with tight jeans and they're holding them up when they walk. Or
I don't understand that.
Or you got on a belt and you still holding your pants up. Or worst part is I see your underwears. And I see it now even driving. I see dudes crossing the street.
All the rump is out and your hoodie stops at your waist. All your rump is out and your hoodie is tight.
You know what's going to stop that? You're going to have a dude have on some dirty underwear without knowing it and someone calling him out like, yo, do you sit in some Twix? You sit on a Kit Kat? That's what you're going to need. Because
the moist farts, man, and be all the way done.
Yeah, exactly. End up sharting yourself. I think that'll stop that right there. But I used to have students like, and I'd say, listen, brother, can you pull up your pants? Why are you staring at my, and I said, I'm not staring.
Like, I can't.
It's there.
Right. I can't avoid.
I can't avoid looking at it. And I said, on top of that, that's a poor representation of me being an older black man, and
I'm just going to let you slide.
And I'm going to let you just walk by me and not say anything to you about it.
So, I mean, the fact that they make children's clothes in skinny fit is disgusting to me, first of all. So I've had to go out of my way to find jeans that aren't tight on my 4-year-old son. Mm-hmm. Because for me, if you're a pedophile, you're basically making clothes to make your children targets for pedophiles, right? With the whole skinny jean phenomenon, right? So I buy my son, I mean, he's a big boy anyway. My son is 4 and he's wearing size 6 clothes. And to me, that looks like it fits because there's room in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I like to see him in polos, and I like to see him in plaid button-up shirts or button-up shirts with patterns on them, because that's what I found attractive on guys back. I mean, he wears boat shoes with the shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to dress him in a way that when he grows up, if he looks at pictures of himself or if he looks at the clothes that he's always had, he'll have some sense of how he should look, because he's always looked like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? It was raining a couple of weeks ago and I was taking him to the store. I put on some gray pants on him and like a maroon button down shirt and some sandals. And he looked like he came out the 50s. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked like a brother that came straight out of the 50s, all clean cut. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I was proud of how he looked. You know what I'm saying? And I look at some people, and I'm not knocking this because everybody is entitled to have their own personal style. But, putting skinny jeans on a toddler, it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's almost like you're making a sideshow out of your child. Right. Yeah.
Skinny jeans and Vans. It's like you're dressing your child to look like the images on TV. How are they supposed to develop an individual sense of style when they're looking like everybody else? Yeah. CoRtOnIo, it's been a pleasure having you, and
pleasure being on the show.
I can't wait for us to discuss some other things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's so much more that we can flesh out and add to this topic in particular. But again, thank you so much for joining us and being an illegitimate intellectual today. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Same here. And just real quick, you can check out the blog site is opinionatedmail.com.
I'm featured on there too. I got a couple of articles on there too.
Yes, she is. Yep. She's featured on as a guest writer. There's hours of reading material. We talk about
wonderful
everything.
Stuff too. Really good stuff.
From sex to relationships to pop culture to current events,
parenting,
to sports,
education,
everything. Any and everything you can want to read on there is on there. You can also check me out on Instagram. It's at CoRtOnIo5359. As I mentioned earlier in the show, I did publish 2 books. One is a poetry book. It's called Poetic Food for the Mind, Body, and Soul. The other one is a novel. It's called Fool Me Once, Shame on You, Fool Me Twice, Shame on Me. So there's quick.
Are they available on Kindle formats?
They're available, yes. Okay. Kindle formats. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read the back of it. So just to give you an idea of what the book is about. Carl Scott seemed to have it all: a solid family, soon to be college graduate, a great social life, luck with the ladies, and independent financial freedom. What more could a young black man ask for? Well, he didn't ask, but a couple of mishaps along the way changed his life forever. Set in the streets of Oakland, California, follow Carl's harrowing journey through self-discovery, stereotypes, triumph, and potential tragedy as he struggles against the system in an uphill battle to defeat what has plagued much of Black America more than high cholesterol, diabetes, and high blood pressure, baby daddy syndrome. So that's a synopsis of the book. I won't give away what's happened, but definitely check it out. Again, they're at barnesandnobles.com. They're on amazon.com. You can also get them in Kindle version.
Well, thank you so very much again, CoRtOnIo. You're so distinguished in your career and the things that you have accomplished in your young life. And your intellect is actually legitimate because you are college educated and all of that good stuff. You've been validated with many accomplishments. But thank you so very much again for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you out there for listening to another episode of Illegitimate Intellectuals. It's your girl, Miss KK, joined by CoRtOnIo. And we're out.